Today we are working on a bathroom renovation. This is all new construction, new bathroom. There was nothing here before. We've completed all our work on the tub surround. We're getting ready for tile there. But we're also going to be tiling the floor in here. And before you lay tile, you need to have an uncoupling system in place, which is why I'm bringing in a roll of Detra. Now Detra is an uncoupling mat that sits between your structure and the bed of tiles themselves. Typically tiling is a big job and it's expensive. If you want it to last, if you don't want the grout to pop, if you don't want your tiles to crack, you definitely need to have some sort of uncoupling membrane like the one we're using today to ensure that it lasts a lifetime. Now first thing we do is we start laying out our Detra here, and we get our measurements. In the room it's actually quite simple. Basically take it from end to end. And then one at that side is going to just get our measurement, cut the mat, we have our first sheet. This Schluter Detra system is a modern system, but it is based on something that is literally centuries old. When they used to lay tile back in the day, they would use a bed of sand underneath the tile so that any movement in the ground wouldn't transfer through to the finished tiles on top. This is the same idea. We have a membrane in between the structure and the tiles that will be going on top, so if there is any movement in the structure, it is not going to transfer through and break our tiles, crack our tiles, or pop the grout. And when you're spending a lot of money to tile a room, you want to make sure it lasts. Bam, this is how we do it. Once we have all our pieces cut to size, we're actually going to pick them up, keep them in a numbered system so we can lay all of our mortar down and then put all our sheets out. So a lot of people talk about what type of mortar to use when putting down a tile or when putting down Detra. And in almost every scenario, you use a non-modified. However, when you're working on plywood, because it absorbs moisture so quickly, we're going to use a modified thin set underneath the Detra. We will always use non-modified on top. And because the plywood does suck so much moisture, one of the things we can do to kind of mitigate that is to saturate the floor with a little bit of water first. I'm just using a wet rag. We'll be ready to go. While I do this, we'll mix up the thin set. We'll have this floor down in no time. Now when it comes to the thin set, we're using a specifically designed Schluter trowel, which has the perfect notch size that gives us the exact desired amount of mortar on the floor. And then once we have it laid out, you want to grab that side. We can get our Detra right where we want it. Now once you've got your Detra laid into your mortar, you just want to kind of work any bubbles out and make sure you get the mat worked into the mortar bed. With our tile on top, we can see we have our structure underneath, and then we have our uncoupling membrane of Detra, which is mortared to the structure. All we have to do now is measure out for our tile pattern, and we are good to wrap this up. It's gonna look good. Love the tile floor in the bathroom. What you can see is this interesting black hexagon tile with a white inlay. I think it's fantastic, but what you don't see is that there's a Detra mat underneath here uncoupling the tile bed from the subfloor so that we can walk on it confidently knowing the tiles aren't going to pop and crack, they're going to last a long time. For more information, go to Schluter.com.